good thing to do, is it, to be honest? Right, let's move on to talk about Pacquiao against Floyd Mayweather Jr. That's more than a super fight, isn't it?
You know what, I was thinking about this. In fact, Mike and I were talking about this once or a couple of times before. Now, we've had loads of fights. Every single fight has a nickname.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You appreciate that.
yeah.
And it doesn't get boring, but you just don't even, they just blend. Now, we know there's the fight of the century, which was Ali against Frazier. And then, of course, there was the Thriller Manila, Ali against Frazier again. And then there was the Rumble in the Jungle, Ali, there's a pattern here, against George Foreman. And then there's lots of other fights. And to be honest with you, I've forgotten their names. And I was thinking for this one, because it's going to generate, I know we're going to go into this a bit more detail, it's going to generate more money than any other fight has ever generated. These two guys are going to make more money in one single appearance than any other boxers have ever made. I was thinking it might just be called The Fight.
Very nice.
Fantastic.
Simple as that.
Very nice. I like that. No daft adjectives, nothing like that. It does what it says on the tin.
Absolutely. The Fight. Box.
Very good, Bunty. How close is this fight to taking place, Mike?
Well, there have been some really encouraging developments this week. Mayweather says he wants to fight and has sent his advisors to negotiate. Bob Arum, who's Manny Pacquiao's promoter based in Las Vegas, is in the Philippines this week talking to Pacquiao about possible deals. And 2 dates have been mentioned. The first of them is March the 13th. The other one, which seems to be more likely, is May the 1st. But that also could be a problem because of Pacquiao's political ambitions. He's running for a congressional seat in a regional area of the Philippines, and the elections are on May the 10th next year. So if he has to run against anybody, that could be a possible impediment. But Pacquiao's trainer, Freddie Roach, told me today here in Newcastle that he's convinced that the fight will happen.
Everyone seems like they're heading in the right direction. I'm sure there's a lot of little negotiating things that are going to be, I'm sure they haven't settled everything yet. But
what about Manny's desire to run for Congress in the Philippines and the elections being on May the 10th? Is that a stumbling block?
Yeah, I get but he called me 2 days ago. He's running unopposed.
So you'd be looking at May the 1st as the most likely date, certainly the date that would suit you best and Manny best.
Yes, I think, because the last fight, hard fight, he broke his eardrum in the fight, and he fought a great fight and so forth. But the first 4 rounds were very competitive, of course, and he put himself on the ropes to test Cota's power a couple of times, and he wanted to see how hard he hit, and he tasted it, but he said he can handle it, but I'd like to see me a little more rest. Yes.
And Mayweather poses a completely different set of problems for Manny, but for you as a trainer too, the biggest challenge for you in your career.
It will be the biggest challenge, because he's a very gifted fighter. I mean, he's a little bit boring and all that, but he's very good at what he does. But I think there's an answer for his style. And the thing is, I've been studying him for quite a while now, and we're going to have a really good game plan, and it's going to be a little bit physical, more physical than any we've ever had, because we really need to break this guy down. And the thing is, whatever he gives us, we will take.
And it is amazing that you've got 2 men who produce their very best on the big occasion virtually every time.
They do. I mean, again, they're kind of opposites. One's offensive, one's defensive. But you know what? They're both great at what they do at this point of their lives, and that's why the fight has to happen, because the world wants to see the best fight the best. Sometimes I wonder, after this, what's next? So, I hope he retires and becomes president, of course. But the thing is, we don't have to go any further than that, because this will be the icing on the cake, just to beat him and, maybe shut him up a little bit. But we'll see.
We've given this contest a name already, which you're still smiling to yourself about. So we might as well start the build-up to the fight as well. It's going to be a real clash of styles, as Freddie Roach said.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic clash of styles on the night. But Manny Pacquiao can do something. He can change. He can make people do what he wants to do, and that's what Mayweather's been doing all of his career, making people do what he wants to do. And it's going to be a battle of wits. But I think it is going to be. Freddie mentioned there, it's going to be physical. We will make it physical. Of course, Mayweather will be doing everything to make it non-physical. I know that sounds like a contradiction, as this is a boxing hour. He'll be doing everything to make sure that he's never on the ropes, that he's never being caught with 2 and 3 punch combinations. I mean, Mayweather, by the way, is an absolute perfectionist. He has been studying Pacquiao for ages. He makes sure he doesn't watch any tapes. Absolute garbage. He watches 12 and 14 hours a day. He'll be working on this fight now. And Pacquiao won't be working on it. He'll get with Freddie, and once, after about 2 or 3 weeks in the first training camp, this is the way it seems to work, they come into training camp, there's about 2,000 people, and they shed people each day. They shred the bosh bang bang until it gets down to Freddie's got Manny's ear. And as my understanding, Mike, and I want to, if we can do a plea on air here for the BBC to send us both out to the Philippines for a little bit of build-up. I'd love to see the chaos surrounding those first early weeks when Freddie's handing out all of that. When he's handing out all of that money, Manny.
I know, and the story of Manny Pacquiao is huge enough already, and you can imagine what the clamour around him will be
for this fight
because he's been mentioned alongside Floyd Mayweather virtually every step of the way for at least the last couple of years, and certainly since he beat Oscar de la Hoya, which Mayweather did as well, when maybe de la Hoya wasn't nearly as shot. But I think it will be a fascinating fight, and I'm hoping that it will be a fight like Tommy Hearns against Sugar Ray Leonard all those years ago, back in the early 1980s, 1981 I think it was, when it fluctuated. It went Leonard's way, it went Hearns' way, it went back to Leonard's way, and it just kept swinging one way and the other like the classic fights, because there is just the danger that Mayweather gets on his bike and tries to make it as boring as possible, but as effective as possible for himself.
No city on the fence here, both of you. I just want a name, nothing else. Where would your money be?
Mayweather for me.
Mayweather for you.
Pacquiao on speed for me.
Okay.